everyone, this is Eugene Roddenberry.
Dr. Mohammed Noor.
Hi, this is Susan Sackett.
This is Fred Bronson.
Madam Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy's son.
This is Leonard Crowfoot.
This is Dr. Aaron McDonald, Star Trek Science Advisor and Lieutenant Commander McDonald on Star Trek Prodigy.
And you're listening to
Humanist Trek.
Humanist Trek.
You're listening to Humanist Trek,
the Humanist Trek Podcast.
And you're listening to
Humanist Trek,
a fabulous, fabulous show.
Enjoy.
And don't worry, you can do your Temporal Mechanics 101 homework later.
And he punches a button on the elevator and exits on the bridge instead of going to sickbay.
And poor Jake is like, wait, what? Is confused. You didn't finish your sentence. What do you mean? They can isolate what? And he never answers. He just walks away and leaves the kid.
Dun, dun, dun. Act 1.
Dun, 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 dun. Act 1.
Perhaps I could use this as an excuse to go to those far-off planets with little polka-dotted people if necessary, and be able to talk about love, war, nature, God, sex, all those things that go to make up the excitement of the human condition.
This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Welcome aboard.
Jean-Luc Picard to the Starship Enterprise.
You want to review your rapid progress?
That nonsense is centuries behind us. To the Starship Enterprise.
Oh, yeah? That is enough, damn it! Tempo, mon capitan.
To the Starship Enterprise.
You can't deny that you're still a dangerous, savage child race.
Of the planet Earth.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
Heldor Joy, and welcome to Humanist Trek. It's a comedy Star Trek podcast about the humanism in Star Trek. I'm Sarah Ray.
And I'm Allie Ash.
And by the time this episode releases, I will have returned home for my mother's 80th birthday.
Oh, that's right.
My sisters have put this whole thing together that she doesn't know that we're all coming. She knows that 2 people are coming or whatever, but yeah.
It was going to be a surprise, and I was going to ask how you're going to fool her, or how are you, there's some people you just can't trick.
Mm-hmm. She has no idea.
I don't know.
She has no idea.
I feel like she has some sort of inkling, surely.
I don't know. My sister and her son are coming. Her adult son are going, and she knows about that. And that's it. And the rest of us have, we're all living lives and working jobs and doing things and have our own families and whatever. And so, getting everybody together is a big fucking deal anyway. I don't think she has, past tense, because it's already happened. I don't think she's had a clue.
This is her 80th?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. You got to do something special.
So, yeah, it's like somebody pushed a button and we were all called to return home for some kind of homecoming ritual thing.
Like a reunion.
Yeah, like a reunion. Interesting. Well, let's push buttons and have androids return home on Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 3, Brothers.
Commander, you'll soon be getting an intruder alert.
What? I've got something, sir.
Intruder alert, sir.
It's an old-style starship, sir. Constellation class, heading this way under impulse com.
Number 1, kindly take charge of our guests until we have time to decide what we're going to do with them. Sir, number 1, keep them out of my way.
Captain Picard's feelings about children on a starship are justified this week as they're pulled away from shore leave to deal with a medical emergency caused by one of these little brats, Jake Potts.
They're taken into the conference room where they normally talk about tactical stuff, where Riker interrogates this Mr. Potts to tell him, okay, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah, they perp walk this boy into the... Troy perp walks this boy in to have a good cop, bad cop conversation with her and Riker, I guess.
Yeah.
So basically, Jake and his 9-year-old brother were playing laser tag, and Jake thought it would be real funny to stuff a balloon full of ketchup under his shirt and make his brother think he'd actually killed him.
Oh, terrible. And I guess his little brother believed that he killed him, and then he went off and ate some fruit or ate something that made him sick and basically gave him parasites.
Yeah, he ate lettuce.
Oh,
And he got the shits.
ate the lettuce. Oh, do you know that they trace that back to some place in Colorado, like some
No.
facility?
Oh, that's interesting because I was listening to NPR and they were talking about how, like, they had their fucking expert on who was talking about how Coloradans shouldn't be worried because there's no evidence that it's happening here in any big numbers. That's so interesting.
I think it's whatever that Colaspera, whatever that is, was traced back to some facility here in Colorado.
Oh shit!
I don't know if
Whoops.
I think we're talking about the same thing that causes the diarrhea and stuff.
Yeah. Well, sorry everybody.
Don't eat the lettuce. just the devil's lettuce. That's the only lettuce you need to worry about.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So he ate this fruit.
Yeah, a cove palm fruit full of infectious parasites. And let's just all pause on that disgusting imagery for a moment.
Where did he get it from? And if they have it on the ship, where the fuck would he get it from?
Yeah, Jake says we were at the arcade. First of all, didn't know there was one of those.
No.
I'm thinking this happened on the planet because the captain's log says we were forced to cut short a 2-day liberty on August 2 and set course for Starbase. So he must have been down on the planet at an arcade. And that's where the laser tag game happened. Then he ran out into the wilderness and ate the forbidden fruit.
The forbidden fruit. Yeah. The forbidden lettuce, whatever it was, and got parasites.
Jake is played by Corey Danziger, who was in The Burbs and Beethoven, the dog movie.
No.
He was only in the biz 5 years, and now he's doing visual art and writing.
Cool.
Riker also reminds him that the deal was that while their parents were on sabbatical, they could stay on the D as long as they stayed out of trouble. Sure is a good thing we're close to a Starbase medical facility, though, and we'll be able to get your brother there and get him well. Yeah, right. So Riker calls in Data, who has already contacted the boy's parents. And Data will be taking young Jake to see his brother in medical quarantine. And in the elevator, Jake seems really upset that his brother might actually die. But Data starts to once again say, good thing we're only a couple days from Starbase Medical Facility, when he suddenly glitches out. He stops talking mid-sentence. His head does the little android twitch thing a lot.
Yeah.
And he punches a button on the elevator and exits on the bridge instead of going to sickbay.
And poor Jake is like, wait, what? Is confused. You didn't finish your sentence. What do you mean? They can isolate what? And he never answers. He just walks away and leaves the kid.
He really could die.
Fortunately, we're only 2 days away from Starbase 416, and their laboratory can isolate.
Can isolate what, sir?
They're on the bridge, and Riker was like, hey, you're back so soon, because he was expecting him to take the kid down to sickbay. But Data doesn't say anything. He just goes to a station, sits down, and starts, mashing buttons. And then LaForge calls down to say that they've completed their dilithium vector calibrations, and they're currently at warp 4, and they can increase to warp 7, no higher. But as Data's mashing buttons, Worf says, hey, Captain, did you request a course correction? And then LaForge calls from engineering and said, I said you could go to warp 7, not to warp 9.1. So everyone's going like, what's going on? And Wesley reports that there's a new course set for heading whatever. So suddenly the ship is doing something. Nobody knows why. It's heading on a course at warp 9.1. And Riker and Picard are asking what's going on. And Riker does ask Data, but Data doesn't say anything. He just continues to mash buttons. And then I'm like, don't you find it strange that Data's not saying anything?
Right? Right. I do love this entire sequence, though. This is like almost heist level, the way Data pulls off this whole maneuver.
Smooth.
Yeah.
So like, even though he is my favorite character, he is the most dangerous. Like,
Oh God, yes.
he has so much, I mean, they have so much trust in him. Like,
Mhm.
if something goes wrong with him, like, he could fuck things up
Yeah.
badly.
Imagine if that Nausicaan bitch Uratoxa had planted a virus in him. Like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, for those of you on the mainline podcast feed, you should be on the Patreon listening to us play Star Trek Adventures. That's a deep cut to Star Trek Adventures.
I love
Anyway,
the name Uratoxa just reminds me of a drag queen name.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Geordi's going on and on about how they shouldn't be going this fast, and again Picard calls on Data. But suddenly now the lights go out on the bridge and a warning to evacuate for life support failure plays. So everybody starts evacuating, transfer helm to engineering and meet back up there. But when everyone else gets into turbo lifts, Data just kind of nods as if he's going to,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't.
Yeah, he nods to Picard and Picard nods back and they're like, okay, like there's some understanding he's the last one that's going to be on the bridge to make sure everything is good before they leave. And then off they go to engineering, so trusting. Data would never. Data would never.
Yeah, but then Data allows the life support to terminate and then goes to an aft station on the bridge and starts mashing buttons there.
Of course, Data can survive with no life support because he's fine.
Meanwhile, in engineering, Geordi and Ensign Kopf are trying to figure out what happened when the bridge crew arrive and Picard orders a full stop, but helm control isn't responding. This otherwise UC crewman Ensign Kopf is credited as a co-star played by James Lashley, who comes back as another character in Deep Space Nine.
Oh.
He made the rounds on a lot of television shows, but one of the movies he's known for that for some reason as a teenager I was into is Howard the Duck.
Oh, Howard the Duck.
I've watched that since, like as an adult, and was like, oh God, what an awful fucking movie that was. But as a kid, I loved it.
Stupid. It was dumb.
It was so stupid.
They can't come to a full stop. The ship's not responding. And then Picard just, out of the blue, he's like, look, locate Commander Data, because they just suddenly notice he's not there. And he's still on the bridge. And Riker says, what the hell is he up to? So Picard wants to have a security team go down to deck 2 and then try to get to the bridge from below because they don't have any control of impulse engines, warp engines, nothing. Navigation, nothing.
Picard tries calling Data on the bridge, but Data just hangs up the phone. Then he inputs priority clearance Alpha 1 into the computer and basically locks off the ship's power and comms.
Son of a bitch.
Picard gets the bright idea to separate the saucer section, but at warp 9.3, that's really dangerous. But the idea here is that the saucer section where Data is would lose its connection to the warp drive and drop out of warp, and then they could tractor it. But on the bridge, Data is doing an impersonation of Picard, ordering the computer to cancel the saucer separation.
This is appalling. I am appalled. I have never. We're professionals. And you people are embarrassing me.
Everything they do, he's just like,
anticipating.
Computer, belay that order.
Yeah. God damn it.
And then he isolates all command functions and only accept orders and inquiries from the bridge. So when Picard tries to reestablish the saucer separation from engineering, the computer doesn't let him. And Wes points out that only Picard has root access to that kind of command. But apparently Data does too.
They need to rethink his access to everything.
Yeah. Well, I was saving this for later, but at the end of this episode, we just go back to normal and everybody trusts Data 100% again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like nothing happened. Anyway.
Meanwhile, Riker and Worf are messing around in the Jeffries tube. They're going to try to get to the bridge from below. They're looking for the isolinear subprocessor, and they figured out where the one Jeffries tube where they need to go, J14, backs up into Station 2, so that's where they're headed. And then Data is also thinking ahead and configuring a force field perimeter to come up through section 9K to T12 or whatever. So basically, he's blocking everyone via force field. And everything, they're in the Jeffries tube and everything goes, boom. And Riker's like, what was that? It's a force field that just fucking came up. And they're like, God damn it.
So Picard calls O'Brien to disable the site-to-site transporter function. He's thinking ahead now, too. Well, wherever we're going, we need to keep Data from beaming himself off the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Then Picard checks on the medical quarantine, where Crusher reports it's still intact, and we see the child is laying inside a large glass box. He's in a bubble, a quarantine bubble. And she warns that he's all right for now, but won't stay that way for long. We've got to get to the Starbase medical facility. But unfortunately, it seems Mr. Data has other plans.
Computer, recognize Picard. Jean-Luc, Alpha 2 clearance.
Priority clearance recognition, Alpha 2.
Cancel separation sequence.
Sequence canceled.
Isolate all remaining command functions and accept related orders and inquiries from main bridge only.
You know you have to get it just so.
In sickbay, Crusher is examining her young patient, Willie Potts, played by Norwegian actor Adam Ryan, who also didn't stay in acting very long. He was in Child's Play 2.
With Chucky?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And voiced Cody in The Rescuers Down Under, Disney movie. Then he moved back to Norway and wrote for a few TV series there. Nothing that any of us would know, of course, except for those of you in Norway. Sorry for being a little America-centric here.
There's some really cool foreign shows that I really like that are on Netflix. And there's Norway and there's Icelandic. There's some really good shows, so you never know.
Beverly is trying to be helpful here, talking about like, come on, kid, haven't you played a practical joke before? And I felt today that is like seriously tone deaf.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think we all know someone like this, or maybe we've done it ourselves. She's like, yeah, but what about an April Fool's Day joke? Like, those are fun, right? And he shuts her right down. It's never funny to the one getting fooled. And this is exactly how I have felt about April Fool's Day since childhood.
Yeah. It's a incredibly awful. It's not even officially a holiday. It's just something people do.
Yeah, as an excuse to be dicks to each other.
Exactly. And why is the kids full of knowledge? Like, oh, it's not not Beverly.
She tries one last time, suggesting that his brother didn't intend for it to get out of hand like this, and Willie says, "What's so funny about making someone think you killed them?" He is saying all the right things here. He's being clear and direct and very smart. And Beverly is just not getting it. I do not like how this makes Beverly look, but I really like how Willie comes across. And it says a lot, I thought, about how adults are often so intent on an outcome. In this case, she's trying to get Willie over these feelings to move on. But then we miss the important part of sitting with those feelings and validating them and actually processing them. And I think a lot of that is generational too.
Yeah. We just don't want them to feel bad. So we'll say and do anything to change that. But what we really need to do is figure out, okay, he's feeling bad for a reason, and address that reason and validate those feelings instead of brushing it off and say, don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Feel that way.
You fall off a bike and it hurts, and we want to rush up and go, oh, it's okay, everything's fine. Nah, bitch, that hurt.
Yeah.
And it's okay that it hurt. Cry.
Cry if you need to cry. Yeah.
I think about how for my parents' generation, right, therapy was for crazy people. And the understanding for younger generations has shifted away from that in the same way the pull yourself up by your bootstraps is so outdated, right? I think, you know, obviously therapy is such a healthy thing we should all be in therapy all the time for all the reasons, as my friend Mike at KH Podcast says.
Well, and the reason we're in therapy is because we didn't learn how to deal with our feelings in the first place when we were younger. I feel like eventually, if we create a generation that addresses feelings early, then everyone won't be in therapy. But the reason everyone's in therapy right now is because we've created generations and generations of people who don't deal with their feelings. So
Yeah. We're doing therapy in adults to learn the coping strategies and techniques that we should have learned as children. Yeah, that's
that
such a great point.
that part. Yep.
Yep.
So as Crusher and Willie are talking, Troy comes in with Jake. Well, he finally made it to the sick bay where he was supposed to go. And when his brother sees him, he immediately turns his back.
Hang on, we're missing a scene here. So Data leaves this kid in the elevator and goes onto the bridge. Where does the kid go? Does he like go back to Troy and be like, "Hey, something's going on with Data?" Or
good point, because they went to between all of that, they went to Red Alert, and where did everybody go?
Yeah,
like they're supposed to be in Red Alert right now.
How did Jake and Troy get together and together end up in sickbay?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Jake comes in and sees his brother lying there, but his brother just turns his back on him, and he's like, "See, he's not even going to talk to him." And Troy's encouraging him to try, but he just runs out. He's like, "I've hurt my brother's feelings, and he's not going to talk to me."
The D rolls up to a green planet, and back on the bridge, sure enough, Data is trying to do a site-to-site transport to the surface. But the gang and engineering have locked him out. So instead, he plots a course through the ship to the transporter room and ingeniously creates a cascade force field sequence that will basically follow him as he goes. This is fucking brilliant.
I'm telling you, he's fucking dangerous. I mean, we love him, but Data is a dangerous motherfucker.
Yeah. So down in engineering, Geordi has been unable to get commands back online outside the bridge. Worf can't make phone calls because the subspace phone is locked out, and they can't even figure out where they are in the universe. So they're discussing this when O'Brien calls because he's seen that Data has realized the site-to-site transporter lockout, and anticipating that Data would then try to get to a transporter room, Picard sends Worf to post security teams all along those corridors and inside the transporter rooms.
On the bridge, Data's still already thinking ahead, and he's imitating Picard's voice again, and he's setting up a security code for access to all functions that were transferred to the bridge. He sets up a 52-character password, basically.
Yes.
And I'm
with two-factor authentication.
You know how like everyone's always telling you, choose a password that no one can guess. Well, guess what? No one's going to get this 52-character password.
No way.
The computer confirms, and then he goes ahead and initiates his cascade sequence, and he leaves and heads to the transporter room.
This begins the Great Escape. Bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Great Escape. What a classic movie.
So the security team is like on his trail. They see him get out of the turbo lift, but then they run into a force field just like that. And then Data's giving commands as he's moving along for the computer to put force fields up. So they cannot get to him. Worf sees Data, and he's trying to order him to stop, of course. They want to shoot, but they can't because of the ricochet possibility of the force field, so they can't shoot him either.
I love that when Worf and his UCs come around the corner, then Data initiates this scan phase of the operation, and the force field just kind of moves as he moves, and it pushes Worf and them back. I thought that was fucking brilliant. I love this whole sequence. Riker, O'Brien, and a UC are hiding out of sight on the transporter pad, which Data calls up another force field and kind of blocks them inside. Then he sets about unblocking the site-to-site transporter function and beams out.
Done.
He didn't even need to get up on the transporter pad. All he needed to do was move some isolinear chips around and boom.
So he beams onto a planet that's lush and tropical looking with lots of bird sounds, and in the middle of that lush jungle, he sees like a building, like a lab.
This seemed like a nighttime sequence, didn't it? Like a full
it
moon,
did.
maybe? It was bright at night, yeah.
But he walks in to this building, like the door opens and he walks right in. And it's like a scientist lab. Electricity in a jar, colored liquids, and there's a figure over there that's standing on a ladder, and he comes down. And it's an old man. Of course, we know it's Brent Spiner. And he says, "You're right on time. It's Dr. Soong."
One thing I love about this scene is that as the camera kind of pans through the interior of this, you see all this scientific gadgets and shit, but there's also a clearly like Data style android hand and foot sitting
There's
next
some
to a potted plant.
Just some random body parts laying around,
Right. And that suggests maybe he's creating another one.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like that, it's never answered, but the fact that there's some spare parts laying around suggests that maybe there's something else going on.
He's a mad scientist. Yeah.
Computer, establish a security code for access to all functions previously transferred to bridge.
Enter code.
173467321 Charlie 32789777 643 Tango 732 Victor 731178888 732476789764376 lock.
This is, of course, Brent playing Dr. Noonien Soong, although we don't learn that just yet. But he has Data's communicator badge opened up, and he's got his little glasses screwdriver inside of there, twisting some things around and making adjustments.
Got his sonic screwdriver.
Yes.
Because Data, it seems to be out, but still communicating and responding to commands. So he fiddles around with this sonic screwdriver in Data's mouth, and he's like doing some things, and then he's like, there.
Data seems to snap out of the days he's been in, although he has no memory of the trip here or what he had to do to get here. And he tries calling the D, but obviously that won't work now because Soong has disabled the communicator. And I love this Brent on Brent action.
Yeah.
They've done some really creative shot making to get both of them in shots together. Like sometimes it's a body double from behind. Sometimes it's a locked off camera and they're splicing two takes together like a split screen.
Like they do with him and Lore.
Right. Yeah. The characters are played at different heights, right? Soong has kind of a slump to him.
Oh, that was going to say, yeah. I did notice when Data was looking at Soong, he wasn't looking down at him. He was looking like over his head. That was the only thing that didn't quite match up.
Yep. That tips off that it's the two shots that they composited together. Yeah. Like a split screen. At one point, Soong reaches up and grabs Data's chin, admiring his face, and then pats him on the cheek. Really, other than that one thing that we both noticed, it's really believable that this is two different actors.
Yeah. Back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
I think it was 90s.
Yeah. Data remembers aloud that they were headed to a medical facility with a sick child, recounting the last thing he remembers. And then Soong interrupts and asks if he looks familiar to Data, and Data does notice a resemblance to Dr. Soong, his creator. But that can't be, because Soong was killed by the crystalline entity. Or was he?
Dun, dun, dun.
Nope. Soong declares that Data has found his long-lost father alive, and he gets a fun slide along a library ladder, which, anytime that's in a set, you want to do that.
I totally. And I'm like, who's down at the bottom, out of shot, sliding that ladder across? Because that had to be what happened. Soong just says, he's resourceful, and he's like, I'm never gonna not have a way to escape. He's always gonna have to have a route of escape.
And when he says, I admit I wouldn't have guessed I'd be running from a giant snowflake, Data's like, holy shit, it really is you.
Oh.
He pulls a book off of this library shelf, which I assumed had to be like old notes from when Data was constructed or the notes from when he's creating this chip that we're about to learn about. Put a pin in that because I have thoughts about that for later.
Cool.
Back on the D, they're trying to get through the force fields, blocking the access to the bridge, and Geordi discovers that the force field operating in sickbay was outside the command Data provided. So it would be possible to use that force field's power to somehow negate the bridge force field. But of course, that would put the boys' quarantine at risk, So maybe there's a way to maintain minimum field integrity in sickbay and use some of that energy to break onto the bridge.
Meanwhile, in sickbay, Crusher's trying to, practice her bedside manner and,
And her vaudeville routine.
I know. I know. She checks on Willie to see how he's doing this morning, and he says that he's gets dizzy when he's standing up, and she's like, "Well, you know the old story about a man who goes to his doctor. He says, 'Doctor, it hurts when I raise my arm like this,' and the doctor says, 'Well, don't raise your arm like this.'" And so Willie says, "Okay, so I shouldn't stand up."
Straight out of vaudeville.
Oh my gosh, so very much so. But then LaForge comes in and says they're ready, and if everything goes well, you shouldn't notice anything with the force field.
And I made a note of that because that could have been a phone call.
Yeah, maybe I was thinking it was a phone call, but no,
Should have been, yeah.
but because he turns around and leaves.
Yes.
After that, so
Yeah. Anyway, they leave and Crusher turns back to Willie because he still isn't talking to his brother. And Willie's like, so fucking what? So Crusher tries again. Come on, he's your brother. I'm sure he feels very guilty and this has been hard on him too. And Willie's like, why is everyone so fucking concerned about him? I'm the one that's sick. I'm the one that's going to die.
Yeah.
And again, he's right.
Yeah. They're worried about the wrong thing.
Yeah. And Crusher's like, well, nobody's going to die, but this kid is too fucking smart for that.
Yeah.
He knows it's a real possibility. He's a smart kid. Worf and the UCs get access onto the bridge, but Worf doesn't have high enough clearance to unlock the tactical station. So then when Picard, Riker, and Geordi arrive shortly after, and Picard tries restoring access to everything, the computer does recognize his clearance level, but then it prompts for a password. And of course, Picard's like, password? I don't have a password.
And LaForge is like, damn it, Data. I was afraid of something like this. Well, okay, you should have protected against it. The sensors are now working and they're scanning the planet and they don't find Data, but they do find a human or a single life form on the surface. So Picard is like, well, that human has a lot to answer for. But then they notice something else, or rather, Worf notices that there's a small vessel that's coming into orbit with no life forms on it.
Okay, I got another quibble here.
Uh-oh.
First of all, if we're scanning the sensors on the planet looking for Data, why wouldn't we have found him? The sensors can locate Data.
But you don't know if what Sung has done to like, because
has blocked their ability. Yeah, that's true.
so this homing thing that he's put in him, you
good.
just and it's also not detecting anything in the shuttle that's coming up. I don't want to give it away, but yeah.
Right. Back on the planet, Sung has Data patting his head whilst rubbing his belly, which is not easy for a human to master.
I can't do it. I have the hardest time. I have to
I can do it.
concentrate.
Here, I'll do my boobs since I can't do my belly. Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, and then whistle, pop goes the weasel.
Yeah, I can do it.
No, I don't know why Sung is making him do all that. Whistle, rub his stomach, or patting his head.
It's a fun callback to the pilot when Data was trying to master the art of whistling.
Yeah.
But still hasn't figured it out. Now, I don't know how much of this was scripted and how much was Brent making choices. But Sung goes over to a potted plant and like strokes a leaf, admiring it as if he hasn't been growing it for years. It was the weirdest choice to go over there and like play with this plant.
No.
And then, for some reason, from inside the mouth of a large dinosaur skull that he has in his lab for some reason, he picks up a small plastic toy dinosaur. quite popular in my youth. I had lots of those. And he goes to place it in what looks like a large-scale diorama with a number of other dino toys. Like, why is Sung so interested with the Paleolithic period or whatever the fuck it is?
I don't know, and that's interesting because when he asked some Data some questions about why humans are stuck in the past, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
He's like doing all this stuff absently, and he's asking Data, why Starfleet? And Data's like, what? He's like, I gave you the ability to choose whatever you wanted. And why did you choose Starfleet? And I think it was because the Starfleet officers were the ones who rescued him
Yeah.
when they found him on that planet. Soong is like, oh, so you emulated your emancipators. How disappointing.
Yeah.
What the
Weird. Yeah.
And Data's like, well, what the fuck was I supposed to do? What would you want me to do, Dad? It's kind of like having that talk with your parents when you turned out you joined the circus when they wanted you to be a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. And he does say, like, I wish you had followed in my footsteps and
Mhm.
become a scientist, maybe even a cyberneticist, which, I mean, technically, he totally has. He does
Yeah.
all kinds of science shit on the Enterprise, and he created an offspring, lol.
Yeah. Yeah, he
But
did.
we'll just forget about all of that for the purposes of this episode.
Yeah, but and Soong says, I do keep tabs on you from time to time. So
Yeah.
wouldn't you
Yeah.
fucking know that if you?
Right. Yeah. It would have been great if they'd had gotten to have a conversation about, well, actually, I did create an android, but it didn't work, and this is what happened, and what should I have done differently or whatever. And then that leads to the news that he's, that we're getting to. But before that, Data asks Soong, why did you create me? And rather than answer outright, Soong does the old man thing of leading Data on a winding thought experiment that leads him to understand that because humans are mortal, procreation is kind of a way to have some kind of immortality that you live on through your progeny. But then suddenly the door opens again and yet another Brent Spiner enters the chat, Lore.
Of course.
And Dr. Soong's like, well, looks like we have ourselves a little family reunion.
Perhaps, for humans, old things represent a tie to the past.
Well, what's so important about the past? People got sick. They needed money. Why tie yourself to that?
Humans are mortal. They seem to need a sense of continuity.
Aha. Why?
To give their lives meaning, a sense of purpose.
Oh. And, this continuity, does it only run one way? Backwards? To the past?
I suppose it is a factor in the human desire to procreate.
Oh, so you believe that having children gives humans a sense of immortality, do you?
Daddy Soong goes and does the same stuff he did to Data he's doing to Lore. He's taking his little sonic screwdriver and messing around in his mouth.
Yeah, changing the transmission fluid and tightening up all the bolts.
But meanwhile, Data's like, no, don't reactivate him, whatever you do.
He's evil.
And I guess Soong didn't realize he was even alive.
Right.
So, and Soong's like, don't be ridiculous. That's my boy. You both my boys. He wouldn't do anything like that. He'll obey me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Data's like, but remember, he admitted an alliance with the crystal entity, the giant snowflake, and he betrayed the colonists. And Soong is just like, be quiet. Shh. And then he wakes up. And of course, he lunges initially when he wakes up, but then Soong just like calms him down. And yeah, he didn't know he was still alive. Or it's Lore didn't know Soong was still alive either.
Yeah, Laura's very surprised to see Soong alive, and he assumes that they captured him in order to disassemble him again. But Soong explains that the androids both have a homing device, which Soong activated remotely so that he could install all the latest security updates for Data. But he had no idea that Lore had been reassembled, so the homing signal accidentally called for him too. And Lore is clearly annoyed at Soong for having taken him apart in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn that he'd been drifting in space for nearly 2 years after his last encounter with Data and was ultimately rescued by a Pakled ship. I want that episode.
Yeah. and that is why he's wearing a Pakled uniform.
Yes, and I didn't connect that at all.
I didn't either.
No. Anyway, Lore says that since he wasn't supposed to be here anyway,
I'm not even supposed to be here today. Oh, fuck you.
he'll leave Soong with his beloved son and just be on his way. But as Lore goes to leave, Soong tells his sons that he's dying. And this provokes a very unexpected response from Lore, who up until this point seemed at least annoyed with Soong, if not outright resentful. But now Lore becomes incredulous, frantic even, about Soong dying. He's like, "What do you mean you're dying? You look fine. You're not that old. You look fine." Great fucking Brent, man. He's just so good.
He can, with the subtleties, he can play 3 different characters in the same room, and you know immediately that they are very different. That's a talent,
it's
man.
so good. Yeah.
Back on the D, they've gained control of the sensors, the life support and auxiliary power, but they can't find the anything about the code, that 52 character code that Data set. And LaForge can't even find the file address of where it would be, so that it would at least tell them how many digits, 52, that they're talking about, because they don't know. Crusher mentions that, well, the little boy has about 24 hours, maybe 36 tops, but if they've got to get him to the starbase, otherwise she's going to be doing an autopsy.
Riker gets an idea to maybe trick the transporter into thinking that a bunch of Datas are beaming down so that they could go after him. And Geordi cautions that this could be done, but without the main computer, it'll be harder. So maybe they can try to connect a few tricorders together in series and do something with that. We arrive back in Soong's lab in mid-explanation of why Soong disassembled Lore in the first place. He wasn't functioning properly. And meanwhile, Data is peppering in things that Lore has told him back in that other episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, namely that the colonists were envious of Lore because he was so human, and that the colonists petitioned Lore to be replaced with a less perfect android, Data. And Soong refutes both of these claims. And Data is like, "A lie. You told me another fucking lie."
Oh my God. Lore is clearly jealous of his favorite son, Data, and Soong like tries to placate him, like, "You were the first, you meant as much to me as Data did, but you were unstable." That's what it comes down to. And the fact that the colonists, they weren't envious of you, they were afraid of you.
3 Brents in a scene is fucking brilliant on its own.
It is
but
so
then,
good. Yeah.
Then Data Brent goes off on a comedy tangent that is just so good, while Lore continues to ask why Soong didn't just fix him, and Soong explains that it was more logical to create Data first, and then, he planned to go back and fix Lore. Data's like, "I am not less perfect than Lore. I am not less perfect than Lore." And Lore mocks Data. "I am not less perfect than Lore." And Soong is like, "Both of you shut the fuck up and sit down right now."
I'm going to stop this car right now.
So good.
And of course, Soong is like not happy about what went wrong, and he's tried to figure it out all over the years, what happened with Lore, but like emotions turned twisted and became entangled with ambition. And if he knew that Lore was not sitting in pieces somewhere, then he would have, tried to bring him home and fix him. But he would have spent years trying to figure out what went wrong. But
instead, he spent all that time on something for Data.
Because he didn't know Lore was even back together. But to Lore, that seems, that's...
Yeah. First of all, you knew I was sitting on a shelf somewhere. Why didn't you come get me, put me back together, and fix me, you asshole? Like, so he made an emotions chip for Data, one that shouldn't cause him to go rogue.
Mm-hmm.
And Soong imagines how hard it's been to live among beings for whom emotion is so critical and not be able to share or connect it with that at all. And Lore jumps up, waxing poetic about how he knows how hard it's been for Data, and maybe now Data might learn to understand his evil twin, maybe even forgive him.
It's crazy that, but like Lore already seems to have feelings.
He does, and that's why he went nuts. Yeah,
and it's because he's got these emotional feelings that he doesn't really. They turn out to be negative. Like And the whole time, like Dr. Sung is holding this this chip in up with some tweezers as they're talking.
Lore says that this will make them more alike, he and Data. And he says he's happy for Data. And Data's like, yeah, your sincerity is questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fucking right. And about Lore, Sung says that Lore has good reason to be bitter. He wasn't given the chances at life that Data and Sung had. But now at least Lore understands why Sung did what he did.
Sung says that, if there was only more time, and kind of says, what a shame. And for some reason, he puts down the chip and he's like, I need to rest first before I do this procedure. And he puts down the chip and walks out like, I need a nap. I'm like, what the fuck? No. And then he leaves the two brothers looking at each other. And then, of course, Lore has this like smile. It's like an evil smile on his face.
And he winks at Data.
Yeah. I'm like,
oh, man.
This isn't good.
Nope.
I am not less perfect than Lore.
I am not less perfect than Lore.
Enough! Both of you, sit down.
Come in.
Allie, I want to tell you about my bra.
Okay.
As a trans woman, finding a bra that actually fits right has been a fucking nightmare. If you have a large torso, like I have, bra makers just assume you have giant breasts, which I do not. So I kept getting too tight around the chest or giant cups that my little itty bitty titties just couldn't fill. Then I found Under Outfit. The idea of going to a store to get measured and fitted, that ranks somewhere between a transporter malfunction and a first contact gone wrong. A terrifying prospect, but Under Outfit's 180-day return and exchange policy means I can try different styles, sizes, and colors right here in the comfort of my crew quarters. If something doesn't work, I just send it back. No judgment, no pressure.
Oh, nice.
Wash it, wear it, wash it again, and you can still send it back within 180 days if it's not working for you.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I discovered the Comfort Shaping Bra, and it's become my everyday under uniform go-to. Supportive, comfortable, and my favorite part, the pads are sewn in.
Oh, thank God.
No more fishing the pads through that little fucking hole in the corner.
Where can I get some of those? Because I'm so sick of fishing, like you said, fishing those pads to where when I wash my bras, I've got those little zip container things where you fold it and that way they don't come apart. But I'm sick of doing that. And I would love, where do I get it? Because sign me up.
Humanisttrek.com/underoutfit.
And they've got shapewear too?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Sold. Sold. I'm so fucking tired of those types of bras. To where I only wear sports bras these days, and I just forget the underwire, forget the padding.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I measured myself right here, and this is like one of the few places where the measurements match the product, and there's like loads of different styles too, right?
Okay.
So
those I don't like. I want the pullover with no clasp. I hate the clasp. I don't do that.
Allie, Under Outfit has those too.
Awesome.
Adjustable straps, not adjustable straps. Like there's all the fucking choices.
I will be shopping today.
Attention crew, Under Outfit is now the official underwear of Humanist Trek. They have bras, underwear, activewear, shapewear, and more. Get 15% off your first order at humanisttrek.com/underoutfit.
So Picard is like, you sure this is going to work? And of course, Riker assures him that nobody knows the transporter like O'Brien. Of course it's going to work. So they've done something to trick the transporter into thinking that all three of them, Geordi, Worf, and Riker, are Data. So they get up on the transporter pad, and Riker's like, I just hope we don't all come back looking like Data.
Well, okay, what's wrong with that?
I don't know.
What a dick thing to say.
And then O'Brien's like, okay, here we go. And Picard says, bring him home, and off they go. They beam down to the planet.
Meanwhile, Soong appears to be installing the emotions chip into Data's neck, and as he shakes Data's mouse to get him out of sleep mode, Data starts singing. And he says, "Thank you, Father." And Soong is like, Data, you called me Father. And Data's like, "You dumb old man, I'm not Data. Bum, bum, bum."
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I knew
son
we
of a
knew it
bitch.
was gonna happen. Laura is constantly fucking knocking his brother out and taking his place. Like he'll
Taking his
change
clothes.
taking
Yeah.
his clothes, taking his place. He's
Yeah.
and Laura's like mocking him. He's like often wrong, which is like I think something that the people called him is
Yeah, the
often
colonists.
wrong soon. Oh, look at him, often wrong. He's got a broken heart. Can't even tell his boys apart. That's really fucked up.
Classic fucking lore switcheroo. Soong tries to tell him that this chip won't work for him. It's meant for Data, but Lore isn't hearing it. He feels cheated, like Soong owes him, and a lot of that comes down to jealousy of Data.
Mm-hmm.
So Lore is clearly becoming affected by this new chip, but Soong isn't able to stop him, and Lore like throws him across a workbench, leaving him unconscious in a pile of science gadgets.
Yep.
As Lore pulls back one of his thumbnails and presses a button and beams away, singing again.
I want one of those, whatever that is. That's kind of cool.
Right? And I love that, like, this is kind of, I guess, the first use of the Android fingernail as a gadget device. Because if I remember correctly, we do revisit this emotions chip thing again. And I believe it's installed underneath one of his fingernails.
But when they were installed when Soong was installing it, wasn't he putting it in his neck or
In
something?
his
Or
neck.
no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Lore's gone. And then Worf and Riker and Geordi are there, and they've got their little sensors out, and they're sensing the human. They're in the lab by this time. They have no way of knowing where Data is, apparently, so they still can't sense him.
Worf, Riker, and Geordi bust into the lab to find the old man on the floor. And as they go to help him, Geordi figures out right away who this is. Context clues filled in all the gaps. He knows this is Dr. Soong. Worf comes back from a side room carrying Data in Lore's clothing.
Like a baby. No, more like a damsel in distress. Like he's like holding him like you rescue a woman. He's unconscious. Riker does something in his back and he wakes up.
Yeah, everybody knows about that now. Remember, it used to be a secret, but now
Yeah.
it's just pretty common knowledge. I mean, I guess Pulaski and Riker may be the only ones who know about it because Riker, and whoever was in the courtroom, because Riker had to turn him off to demonstrate that he's just a machine or whatever. Anyway, Soong wakes up long enough to tell Data that Lore took the emotions chip, that he couldn't tell them apart. And Data tries explaining to Riker what happened the rest of this episode while he was playing three characters. But Riker reminds us there's a sick kid on the D, and we can't move the ship without you and your password.
Yeah.
And Data's like, password? What are you talking about? But Soong tells him to run c:\data/secret/unblock.exe to clear his memory block. And Data does his little head movement thing a few times. And he's like, oh shit, did I do that?
You did all that? Did I do Perfect. Did I do that? Yeah, Data, you could have really fucked some people. He's like, oh, my bad. My bad. They've got to go to a medical facility, but his dad's gonna die.
Riker offers to take Soong back to the D for medical attention. But like a proper old man, Soong is like, nope, I'm going to die, and this is where I want to die. And even Data's like, come on. But Soong says, and this is such a great line, it's okay, Data, go with your friends.
Data asks if Riker and LaForge and Worf can go ahead and go. I want to say goodbye to Doc. He doesn't actually call him father. He just says, I want to say goodbye to Dr. Soong alone. And then they leave. And Soong, he says everybody dies, Data. Well, almost everybody. Every time these people die, I'm like,
right?
Is this the end for real?
Data asks if Soong believes they are in some ways alike. And Soong says yes. So Data concludes that it is all right for Sung to die because he will in some way live on in Data, nodding back to that earlier conversation about why humans have children.
Mm-hmm.
Data reminds Sung that he cannot grieve for his death, but Sung points out that Data will grieve in his own way. And then they say goodbye, and this is when Data calls him father. So sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Question, pull the pin out from earlier. Why didn't Data speed read all of Sung's notes while he was down there? He could have probably learned how to make another emotions chip or another android or God knows what all else about cybernetics in general and Data in specific.
Or just like go back.
Come back, yes.
Go back when they're done.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, we just left a whole fucking lab full of cybernetic research.
Which that should be a cause enough for Starfleet to, okay, we need to secure this lab.
Yes.
And not let like just anybody who beams down get their hands on it. But we don't know. Maybe they did something and they just didn't mention it on the
yeah, they sent the Cerritos out for second contact to
But because the next thing you know, they're at the starbase and they've been there for a few days getting Willie Potts feeling better.
He's been treated and returned back to the D, and outside sickbay, Crusher tells Picard that Willie will have to be in quarantine another week or two, but he's going to be just fine. And inside sickbay, we see the boys are running and playing together. Willie inside the quarantine and Jake outside, and Jake passes a couple of plastic dinosaur toys through the little force field holes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And Willie pretends to make them fight. Turns out these are the dino toys from Sung's workshop, which Data brought back as a gift for the boys, which is interesting. That's an emotional choice to have made.
Yeah.
Data remarks about how the boys seem to have reconciled their differences, and Crusher's like, of course, Data, they're brothers. Brothers forgive. And we're left on a close-up of Data clearly considering his own relationship with his own brother.
Boy, I'm sure glad that's over with.
I'll be glad to be relieved of this cargo.
Me too.
It is done, and perhaps just as well.
Yeah, but you know, I learned something today.
I sincerely hope that this is the last time that I find myself here.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? You see, of all the species, yours cannot abide stagnation. Change is at the heart of what you are. That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
First off, let's just be clear that just because people are brothers does not mean they must forgive.
Absolutely.
This family, no matter what idea, is very dated. And I think we've learned in the past 36 years that toxic people, family included, can and should be flushed down the shitter with all the other crap in one's life.
Yeah, I have no problems cutting ties with people, and I don't feel guilty about it. And I've often wondered, why don't I feel guilty when everyone is telling me, "Oh, that's your blood, that's you." But I'm sorry. I love me and I love my peace of mind more than anybody else.
Yeah.
So I always will choose me.
Yes.
And I feel like that's hard though for people.
It is hard. And I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've talked about it on this show, but when I was going through the early stages of my transition and in therapy and working through like what does it mean and who am I and you know, I'm going to become an authentic version of myself, and what does that mean? One of those big questions is, well, how's my family going to react? And I had prepared myself to cut everyone loose. Had they come back and said, well,
We don't accept you.
We don't accept you. Yeah. I was ready because my wife does accept me and has been with me through the whole transition. We got together pre-transition. She has been with me through the whole thing. Both of my kids are super supportive and affirming of me and who I am and what my identity is. And that's my family. And everybody else can get fucked. You know?
Yep.
Like, and then there's your found family, like you.
Yeah.
That accept me and embrace who I am And
Absolutely.
that's more, you're more of a sister to me than a blood sister might have been, you know, like
Same.
fortunately
Same.
all of my family kind of came around.
Yeah.
But I was ready. I was ready to cut them loose.
And they got lucky because that they did come around because
Yep.
yeah, what kind of relationship can you have with someone who every time you see them, you're reminded you're not enough? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What kind of relationship can you have and be a stable human being? Because that stuff weighs on you if you have to see them all the time and then still try to keep them in your life.
Right.
Sorry, you got to choose you. You
Yeah.
always have to choose you.
Now, if we're speaking specifically about the brothers' situations in this episode, you know, does Willie and what's his name? What's the other kid? Jake?
Willie and something
You know,
Potts.
is Willie gonna forgive Jake?
Jake.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That,
but you know, with so with Data and Lore,
mm-hmm.
there's an issue with dear old dad. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like because of his ambition to create the perfect whatever, he's put them against each other.
Yeah.
He's the reason because he made them different, and I feel like even though he doesn't favor one over the other, I think he does. Like Data was supposed to be a better version.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he kind of just tossed Lore in the trash, disassembled him, tossed him in the trash.
Yeah.
And that, of course, that's going to create animosity. I feel like it's his fault. It's the parents' fault.
But in therapy, would Lore learn that the jealousy and feelings that you're holding for Data are misplaced?
Yes. Yeah.
That as brothers, you know, not to say that again that means all, but his anger should be towards his father, not towards his brother.
Right.
But then you have Data, and should Data forgive Lore for all the terrible shit he's done? First of all, Lore does not seem to wish to be forgiven. He doesn't see that he's done anything wrong, right?
He would rather get rid of Data.
Yeah.
Like, and because their Data doesn't really feel
right,
but he just logically knows this Lore can't be trusted,
Yep.
But I feel like if he could feel, he would forgive him because that's just Data.
Yeah.
But here we are talking about two androids that don't have any feelings.
That's how we explore humanity in this series.
I know.
Is through the android.
But Lore has feelings now because he's got a chip.
Well,
but I feel like
he had feelings to start with, and that's what got him off track, and why the colonists were like, "Whoa, this ain't cool, bro."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow he ends up feeling all the things that Data really wants. He's already got them somehow, but they're all just negative feelings. They're like
jealousy and anger
mischief and power hungry and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, all of that said, I love Brent acting all of these characters together. I love
for sure
that we got to fill in a little bit of Data's past, find out what happened to Lore, and now we know he's still out there.
So we know we're going to see him again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, this is another episode where showing the stakes instead of telling them might have helped me. So much of this takes place in Soong's lab, and it's Brent on Brent on Brent action. And then we get some short glimpses back on the D in the situation with Willie, but I never really got the feeling that Willie's life was in any real danger. Show him having like a fever or convulsions or something. Like we see him playing in this fucking bubble. Like I always complain about Star Trek not always having too high a stakes. This episode needed some a little more. Like drive home the point that the idea that this detour has stakes.
Yeah. Because he was fine other than he was a little dizzy when he stood up, but he wasn't that sick.
No, I need to see this kid retching into a bucket.
I need to see him turning colors. I need to see some spores. He's got parasites. I want to see like some worms coming out. You know what I mean? Some worms coming out of his freaking orifices or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would've
I
been
did
funny.
not for a minute believe that boy's life was in any kind of danger.
Yeah.
Speaking of lives in danger, did anybody die this week?
Yeah, we lost Daddy. Daddy Soong. So
Is that
yeah,
like Daddy
somebody died.
Yankee? Daddy Soong?
It's a rather, I'm like, I don't know why these rhymes are getting longer. It's been a while actually since I wrote anything.
has.
Because nobody's died.
And I'm mean, and we took a took a summer
We took
off.
a break. And so this rhyme writing is getting out of control. They're too
Okay.
long. This one's too long. But want to hear it? Wait,
Yes, I do.
here it goes.
All 17 verses.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Damn.
9. Yeah, I'm like,
Okay, all right.
normally I don't write this one for one person. Mm-mm.
Uh-huh.
We're here together to honor our friend and comrade. We will all find time to grieve for her in the days that are ahead. But for now, she has asked that we celebrate her life with this.
Well, it's about time for a family reunion, and it's time we caught up with old man Noonian. Home chip activates in Data's brain, you see, so he pulls some shenanigans, takes over the D. Arrives on a planet, but he knows not where. Walks into a lab and finds his father there. He's supposed to be dead, but he's forever resourceful. He has a gift for Data, and he seems remorseful. But you can't have Data unless you have lore. And who should walk right through the front door, still bitter from their meetup on Omicron. And he's also jealous. Data's a favorite son. He breaks the news to his boys that he's gonna kick the bucket. And then he says, I'm tired, I'm gonna take a nap, fuck it. Lore knocks his brother out and takes his place. Gets the emotion chip and hightails it into space. This time, Dr. Soong is gonna die for real. And even though he knows that Data can't feel, he knows he's gonna grieve him in his own way.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Dr. Soong.
We can handle all the pleasantries later. Now, let's get down to business.
I am willing to pay handsomely for you.
I think you've had a little too much to drink.
Now, what do you know about my money?
Your money.
The money he stole!
You stole his money?
Those vouchers I gave you were every bit as good as Latinum.
You can spend Latinum almost anywhere. Those vouchers are only good at your bar.
As always, we want to thank everyone who supports us over on the Patreon, and a special thank you to the founding admirals. A special thank you to Allie, Sarah D, Bruce, some call him Tim, and the Mat Man. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Captain, Starfleet Academy is requesting an update on our estimated arrival.
Finalists, please take your seats.
I must admit you have a very fast mind.
Once I realized it was a trick question, there was only one answer.
Although only one student will be chosen for the Academy, any of you could easily qualify. Candidates, good luck.
You got called to the superintendent's office. It's a story I'd like to hear.
Beck is back now with the answer to this week's Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge question for brothers. Remind every week, absolutely remember, but remind everyone else what the question was.
The Packwood costume, worn by Brent Spiner as Lore in this episode, was auctioned off in an online auction in 2007. Can you guess how much it went for?
What were our guesses? I don't
Sarah
remember
guessed $250,000 and Allie guessed $10,000. You were both over.
Yeah, we
but
were.
Allie was
closer.
Much closer.
Affirmative.
It actually sold for $2,155.
I could have afforded that.
That's low. I would imagine it would have been more. Not 250,000, but like more than 2,000.
Yeah.
Well, back in 2007. Wow.
Still.
20 years ago. Yeah, still I would. Wow. Did they say anything about who bought it? Do you know anything else?
No, the auction house never released the name of the buyer.
Oh, lucky son of a gun.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was our friend Seven Sparrow, or what the fuck his name is?
Oh,
you know what
yeah,
I'm talking about?
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him doing a lot of things lately. But
No, we haven't been going to Denver things though. So
no, but he's I follow him and he really posts a lot of stuff about what he's doing and haven't seen him lately.
Huh.
But
all right. Well, hope he's all right. Hope
yeah.
he's well. And I hope he snagged that costume for $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know he does. When we met him at the it was the Denver. What was it called?
Well, we initially met him at the Aurora.
That's right.
That one.
Retromania. Yeah. And then we saw him again at Galacticon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was Data in the morning, and then switched in the middle of the day to Lore. It was
so good. I know yeah.
All right, next time on Humanist Trek, we'll be discussing Star Trek: The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 4, Suddenly Human. Picard risks war when he refuses to return a human boy to the alien father who raised him and may have abused him. What do you remember about this episode?
Very little. Yeah, so there was this kid who I guess he was actually not this person's child. He actually was belonged to Earth parents, and he was actually either his parents were killed and he was stolen or something. And so I think he grew up believing this guy was his father and he wasn't.
And all I remember is there's a scene where Picard comes to check on him, and like he takes Picard on as a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
Picard comes to check on him, and he's blasting this music like super fucking loud, like a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That ain't gonna help us. What's our question?
No.
We're suddenly human.
A very observant viewer after several watches through the entire series. Nerds. You can take that out if you want.
Fucking mute you.
She call us a nerd.
Might notice that stock footage was used for the brief appearance of one of the series regulars. This is because that actor could not appear as they were recovering from surgery. Who was it?
Was it Brent?
Wow. Who had surgery? Gates, maybe?
Oh.
Who the fuck would have had surgery? What kind of surgery? I'm gonna go with Gates. I don't know.
I'll go with Brent. I don't know.
Okay.
You can have all kinds of surgery.
I know, right? And if you've had surgery and want to play along, you know how to do that. Head out to your social media, share this episode with the hashtag Starfleet Challenge. We will pick out a winner. And next time we'll discuss Star Trek: The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 4, Suddenly Human.
Do you seek Jamaharan?
Resistance is futile.
Humanist Trek is available wherever you replicate your podcasts. Follow us on all the social medias at Humanist Trek. Become a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Trek. Open hailing frequencies to podcast@humanisttrek.com and visit our website, humanisttrek.com. Humanist Trek is a production of Sarah Austin Media.